Hello class 9, welcome to your geography class. Today we are starting a very new and interesting chapter, Volcanoes. This is your chapter number 7, and in this Volcanoes chapter we'll go through the meaning and types of volcanoes, as well as we'll come to know about the constructive and destructive effects of volcanoes, and we'll also go through the important volcanic zones around the world through the map work. Right, children? So let's begin our class. Okay, what do you know about the volcanoes? What is the definition of volcano? So volcano is what? It's a narrow opening of the on the Earth's surface from which the hot molten lava, gases and ashes and some pyroclastic materials ejected out from that surface, below the surface, right? So this is volcano. So the ejected materials are lava, pyroclastic materials, gases, pyroclastic materials, lava and ashes. So these are the materials which ejected out from this vent or from this mouth of volcano, right? So this is volcano. So how do we define volcano? Volcano is a opening on the planet's planet surface or on the crust, which allows this hot magma. When it is inside the earth, we call it magma. So which allows this hot magma, molten rocks, ashes, pyroclastic material and gases to escape from the surface, below the surface, right? And this activity involves in mountain building process. This is that process through which the mountain like features are formed, right? Okay, so volcanoes are generally what? They are found where tectonic plates are pulled apart or come together. So we know that the tectonic plates, so these plates, they collide with each other. They keep on moving, and maybe they collide or maybe they pulled apart from each other. So that's the reason for the volcanic eruption. Examples are given here. The mid-Atlantic ridge has examples of volcanoes caused by divergent tectonic plates. So divergent means when the two plates are moved apart. The Pacific Ring of Fire has examples of volcanoes caused by converging or convergent tectonic plates. So Pacific Ring of Fire, you will come to know about that. Pacific Ring of Fire is due to the convergent tectonic plates, when the two plates collide with each other, right? And by contrast, volcanoes are usually not created where two tectonic plates slide past one another. Volcanoes may also erupt where there is stretching and thinning of Earth's crust, such as in the African Rift Valley. So that means volcanoes are not only caused by the divergent of the plates or convergent of the plate boundary or plates. That is, volcanoes are also caused when it gets fracture or when it gets cracks on the Earth's surface. So we called it when it gets a crack. This is, let's suppose, the Earth's surface, and when it finds fracture here, right, crack here, the molten material tends to eject through this crack, right? So wherever it finds stretching or thinning or fracture, cracks on this Earth's crust, it tends to eject out from that crack or from that fracture, right? So this is also one of the cause for the volcanic eruption. An example it's given here: African Rift Valley is formed due to volcanic eruptions because there was stretching and thinning of the crust. The narrow opening of the volcano is called vent. The upper part of vent is often a cup or okay, let's know about the volcanoes through this diagram and the parts of volcanoes. So this is the diagram of volcano. So here we have magma chamber, and magma is there, that's the hot molten material, and this is the part, we called it vent, 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 right? And upper part of this vent is a cup like structure, so we call it saucer shape, right? It is in a saucer shape, that is the cup shape. And this molten material tends to eject through this vent, through this opening, and after this volcanic eruption, this some of the materials which ejected out from this volcano are ashes, gases in the form of cloud. Ashes and gases eject out, as well as the magma also ejects out, and that magma, when it comes in contact with the atmospheric pressure and atmospheric temperature, it solidifies there. So solidification and cooling of magma is known as lava, right? So that is the solid rock, or the rock material ejected during this volcanic activity is deposited on the earth's surface. This is known as lava. So here it's lava flow, this is vent, this narrow opening is vent, and the upper part of this vent is known as saucer, which is cup like shape, or the shape of the saucer is cup like cup, and this is magma chamber, right? Okay, now it is known fact that the temperature increases with increasing depth in the interior of the earth. Due to high temperature, the rocks in the interior should be in a molten state. However, due to high pressure of the overlying rocks, the material in the interior of the earth behaves like solid substances. If the pressure of the overlying rock strata on this material is released, it turns into molten material. Such a release of pressure may be caused due to faulting or fissure caused by the excessive pressure of gases. The hot rock material turned into liquid rises to surface through these cracks or fissures, as I told you earlier. Ejecting of the material from the interior is called volcanic eruption. So this is volcanic eruption, and the material rising to surface gets cooled and solidifies, thereby sealing the opening of the crust. So sometimes after the cooling of this ejected material, the mouth gets sealed, right, blocked. Okay. Thus the volcanic eruption stops after some time, right? A typical volcanic eruption lasts only a few days, and the volcanic activity is intermittent in nature. So this is what I told you earlier also. So when the volcanoes get fracture or cracks on the surface, so it tends to push, or it tends to move out or eject from that cracks or fissures, right? And it behaves like that because we know that earth's interior is very like the temperature is very high, pressure is very high. Because of that, the internal structure of the earth is in a molten state, whereas the overlying layer of the earth is in a solid form. So overlying solid form on that molten state, that means molten state means it acts as a liquid. So something solid, when it put on the liquid, it will float. So that is how um, that is how the plate tectonics keep on moving, because the plate tectonics means, or plate boundaries, plates means it's a solid solid material, right? So it tends to move on the molten material, right? So wherever this molten materials inside the earth gets place or gets fissure or cracks, it tends to move out, it tends to eject out from that uh, portion, from that fissure, cracks, right? So that is how this volcanoes occur. So here the word comes intermittent. So volcanic activity is intermittent in nature. That means it is not steady. It is not continuous process, right? So a typical volcanic eruptions may last after a few days. That means it's not a continuous process. So it is intermittent in nature, right? Now on the basis of frequency of eruption, volcanic eruption, volcanoes are categorized into three types. So those three types are active, dormant, and extinct. So these are the three types of volcanoes, which are based on the frequency of eruption, volcanic eruption: active volcano, dormant volcano, and extinct volcanoes. So let's know about these three volcanoes. Active volcano, from name only we come to know the volcanoes which are very active, right? An active volcano is one that has erupted in the recorded history or is currently erupting and is expected to erupt again in the near future. So that's your active volcanoes, right? And the examples are given here: Mount Vesuvius, Mount Stromboli, Mount Etna in Italy, and Mauna Loa in Hawaii Islands are the examples of active volcanoes. Now let's talk about the Indian volcanoes. So the barren land island in India, that is Andaman Nicobar Island, is an active example of active volcano, because volcanic activities occur there, right? In all, there are about 500 active volcanoes in the world. Now next is dormant volcano. Next type is dormant volcano. Now what is this dormant volcanoes? These volcanoes remain sleep. So sleep means it is also known as sleeping volcano. Sleeping volcano, right? So for some time before becoming active volcanoes again. These volcanoes are very dangerous. They are also called as sleeping volcanoes, as I told you. Mauna Kea, Hawaii Island are the example of dormant volcanoes. So that means why these dormant volcanoes are dangerous, because it seems like it is not going to erupt in future, but all of a sudden it tends to erupt, right? So that's your dormant volcano. That means it is in a sleeping condition right now, but in near future it will erupt. So that's the dormant volcano. Next is extinct volcanoes. The volcanoes, those which have not erupted since remote geological time, since ancient time, when they were active. They have been inactive for so long that they are not likely to erupt in future. So that's your extinct volcano. So extinct, extinct means it's finished, right? So which are not likely to erupt in future. and very inactive during that active period also, right? They have been inactive for so long, they are not likely to erupt again in future, or erupt in future, not again, to erupt in future. So Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa is an best example of such volcanoes, that is extinct volcanoes, right? Now let's talk about the products of the volcanic eruption. Now let's talk about the products ejected during the volcanic activities. So the main product is magma. So the molten hot material which is inside the interior of the earth tends to eject out in the volcanic eruption. So when it comes in contact with the atmospheric air and pressure, then it cools and it forms when it comes in contact, um, or when it comes on the earth's surface, we call it uh, lava, right? So lava is the main product of the volcanic eruption. um, Except lava, there is ejection of steam, gases, ashes, and gases like your sulfur dioxide and sulfur hydrogen sulfide, and the gases like sulfur dioxide, sulfur hydroxide, as well as the other gases like hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and other gases are also inflammable gases, also eject out from the volcanic from the that vent of volcano, right? And except these, beside these products, there are ejection of hot steam. I told you hot steam, it ejects out during the volcanic activity, and when it rises up in the atmosphere, it cools down and falls in the form of rainfall. So some of the volcanoes, the eruption is followed by rainfall also, right? And not only that, the rock material like small pebbles and big boulders, rock materials, pyroclastic materials, they are ejected out during the volcanic eruption. Ash and dust particles in the form of mud flows in case of volcanic eruption is accompanied by rainfall, right? Volcanic eruption may be thus lead to ejection of material in all the form. So we come to know that the products which are ejected during volcanic eruptions are in the form are in three forms: solid, liquid, and gases, right? Okay, now. So next topic is your world distribution of volcanoes, the circum-Pacific belt, the Mediterranean belt, and other regions. The Mediterranean belt and other regions, other belts of volcanic eruptions that will do through map work. So you just read out these topics. Now let's move to the next topic, that is effects of volcanic eruption, constructive as well as destructive effects. So constructive means what are the useful usefulness of volcanoes. Constructive effects: volcanoes have a profound effect on life on the earth. The most common effect of volcanic eruption is the destructive of life and property. Lava flows from volcanic eruptions spread over settlements, roads, and cultivated areas, destroying houses and making land unsuitable for cultivation. Though it has destructive effect, but lava deposit as a result of volcanic eruptions gets weathered down into fertile soil. The black soil of India has been derived from lava rocks. The soil is well known for its fertility, and a variety of crops like cotton, banana, grapes, sugarcane are grown on it. Other important areas where fertile soils owe their origin to weathering of lava rocks include Java in Indonesia. These are the examples. Southern part of Brazil. Java supports a very high density of populations by virtue of the fertility of soil there. So we all know about the destructive effect of volcanoes, like it whenever or wherever it erupts, there is destruction of houses, destruction of lives and properties, right? Like lava flow over the streets, over the settlements, cultivable areas, destroyed houses, and making land unsuitable for cultivation or housing, right? But lava deposited after solidification and cooling of that lava, if that lava is weathered out, right? If the rocks is weathered out, it when it gets weathered down, it turns into fertile soil. We all know about the black soil. So black soil is formed due to volcanic eruption. After volcanic eruption, after solidification and cooling of lava, the uh, the solid rocks gets weathered and turned into fertile soil. That is black soil, which is very good for cotton and sugarcane cultivation, right? So whole example, in India we have Deccan trap that is formed by volcanic eruption. That trap, that plateaus, Deccan plateaus formed by volcanic eruption, and very good, that Deccan trap is very good for cotton and sugarcane cultivation, right? And the other examples are also given here, and other, not only cotton and sugarcane, but the other trees like banana trees, grapes, and other crops, other trees can be also grown in plenty. Now let's talk about the next destructive effect. Steam from volcanic eruption may lead to heavy rainfall, causing landslides, mud flows, and floods. As I told you, after volcanic eruption, some of the volcanoes are followed by rainfall. So that rainfall can cause landslide, mud flow, or flooding, right? So volcanic rocks contain a number of minerals also. Many of the metallic minerals are associated with the volcanic rocks. Volcanic activity is also responsible for metamorphism of rocks and minerals. Conversion of carbon into diamond is the example of formation of valuable minerals through volcanic activity. So whatever the valuable minerals are there on the earth's surface, that is mostly because of conversion of those materials due to metamorphism. And this volcanic activities play a great role in that metamorphism, right? So the conversion of carbon into diamond is an example of formation of valuable mineral through volcanic activity, right? So not only that, metallic minerals are also found during that is associated with that volcanic rocks. So whatever the rocks are formed due to volcanic eruption, we find many valuable minerals in it. The diamond mines in Kimberley in South Africa and Sudbury in Canada are the best examples, are the associated with volcanic pipes. So these are the diamond mines in South Africa and Canada, where the diamonds are found in plentiful manner, right? Now let's talk about the next destructive as well as constructive. Volcanic eruptions in the coastal areas or on the islands lead to high waves and large scale flooding of the coastal regions. destroying settlements. The example it's given, the explosive eruption of Mount Karakota between Sumatra and Java in Indonesia in 1883 caused destruction of almost the entire island. So volcanic eruptions near the coastal area is going to destroy what? The coastal area, because after volcanic eruption, it leads to high waves, right, and causes a large scale of flooding there in the coastal region, causing great destruction over coastal areas, right? Examples are given here. Now let's talk about the constructive effect. Constructive means what are the merits of volcanic eruption. Springs and glaciers associated with the volcanic areas contain mineral salts in the solution. Such mineral rich water sometimes has medicinal value also. So springs and glaciers, formation of springs and glaciers are associated with volcanic eruption. Due to volcanic eruption, springs and glaciers are formed, which is associated means mineral salts are present in that spring, in that glaciers, and sometimes those mineral rich water is very beneficial and sometimes has beneficial value. That means that water which contains mineral is very good for curing skin diseases, right? It has medicinal value. Now let's talk about the next destructive as well as constructive effects of volcanic activity. So here the destructive effect. Many poisonous gases come out at the time of volcanic eruption and cause environmental pollution. Though we know that volcanic eruption, during volcanic eruption, many gases eject out, right? But they are what? Some gases are very beneficial, but some gases are really very poisonous and cause what? Environmental pollution. So the next we have the heat energy of the hot springs can be harnessed for generating power. Whatever heat is generating during that volcanic eruption, that could be converted into harnessing could be harnessed for power generating, right? Okay. Because heat is produced during volcanic eruption, so that heat can be converted or can be harnessed for generating power. Next, the volcanic activity adds to the beauty landscape. Many of the hot springs and glaciers, such as the Old Faithful in the Yellowstone National Park in USA, have developed as important tourist attractions. So here, initially I told you the mountain building process and the features like mountains, hills, that process is due to the volcanic activities, right? So volcanic activities add the scenic beauty, right, or the beauty of landscape. So many people, tourists, they attracted towards those scenic beauty. And example it's given there, one of the faithful glaciers of USA. Many tourists go there to visit that place, right? So USA is gaining what? USA is gaining popularity, as well as USA is gaining foreign exchange, because tourists are attracted towards that Yellowstone faithful, to see, to visit that Yellowstone. Thousands of people, they visit USA, right? So not only volcanic activities like volcanic activity adds the beauty to landscape, but indirectly the country having that beautiful landscape are gaining foreign currency, right? And they are raising their economy, right? The countries, they are raising economy. Okay. So here we have completed the chapter. That's your volcano chapter, chapter number 7. So and the next part, that is the map part, that will do in next video. So better you get 5 world map ready so that we can do map work in next class, right? So get your 5 world map ready for the next class. We will be doing important volcanic zones, important water bodies, plateaus, mountains, and many more around the world, right? Okay, so till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.